said it was
We turned it on.
but I was too scared to get up and look.
Oh, you turned the oven on for the back?
Next
Y'all
morning,
need
when
to
I got there.
Celebrate your birthdays. Where did you celebrate your birthdays?
Where do I celebrate my birthday?
Where did you celebrate?
It may have a big leak in it, and it might have just poured out the Freon.
What did I do my last birthday? We didn't do anything.
On your last? No, you were in the hospital.
Oh, yeah, I celebrated my last birthday in
Where did the garbage go?
But like when you were,
I'll take it down to the garage. We just
but
sit
like
down
when you were
there,
little,
in the
where
driveway.
did you have your birthday?
Actually, we didn't really celebrate birthdays growing up.
Baby, go
Did you have
mama.
We
parties?
didn't have anything special.
Yeah, they're right here.
You didn't have any parties or anything?
They couldn't. They didn't have the money.
In the bathroom.
Did you?
We lived way out in the country, Olivia. When I grew up, we lived way out in the country. And they didn't have birthday parties then.
Did you get like a little present or something?
I may have, but I can't remember. Can't remember much.
Did you have parties?
I had birthday
She
parties.
had birthday parties.
I had birthday parties. Sometimes Mama would give me birthday parties in the summer because my birthday was so close to Christmas. And I would have a birthday party in the summertime because my birthday was too close to Christmas.
One time we had it in Texas, we went back in September
Hey, Jackaroni, close the door.
because we were out there where all the village people were, so we celebrated in September. So it wouldn't be so close to Christmas.
Did you go to church when you were growing up?
Sanders.
What, darling?
Did you go to church when you were growing up?
We had to make sure everybody else.
Did you?
Always.
I did.
What was it like?
Well, when I grew up going to church, it was a lot different than it is now.
Tell her about the building, like where the build, like the building, what the building was like.
Hold on a minute.
No air conditioning.
Oh, no, we didn't have any air conditioning in the church building then. They had to keep the windows raised. That was long years ago. They raised the window. Like when we're in revival or something, they raised
I
all the
understand
windows
here.
so it would be a lot cooler in the church.
Well, we fish it up.
I remember
When
we
you're done,
little
go play.
classes like they do now.
One pizza, one chip,
Yeah,
okay?
Sunday school we had, except we only had one day, we didn't have room.
Fill the belly.
There.
Fill the belly.
In the sanctuary, we would divide up one class here and one up here and one different places. And we would have Sunday school, somebody to teach you.
Come on, buddy.
Like how long was the sermon?
Well, about like they are now. Sometimes they were long, sometimes they were short.
So like 40 minutes?
On Sunday
Okay,
mornings, they
thank
didn't
you.
last too long. We usually got out about like Sunday.
Tell her what you went to church in. How you got to
Well,
church.
sometimes we went in the car. My daddy had to walk in the car and lock it in the morning. Sometimes we go in the wagon.
Yeah, I'll pull it back out.
What kind of dress did you wear? What kind of clothes did you wear?
Just dresses, no pants. When I was growing up, you get girls that no pants.
My mom said that. It wasn't until she was starting to grow up that girls started wearing pants.
That's right. When Memo grew up.
Yeah, girls
But you
start
didn't wear
wearing
pants to church.
No, not
We
then.
didn't wear them to church like they do now.
Yeah.
But at the only time I got to wear pants is when I worked out in the fields. And I'd work maybe some of my brother's pants or something to work out in the field. Other than that, I didn't wear pants at all.
Sounds really cool.
Yeah, it's different. I don't remember getting air conditioning. We didn't ever have air conditioning in our house. I remember when we got electricity in our house, we were all out in the field working. We saw them up there hooking up for electricity. And we all, after they got through, we all went to the house and had a light bulb from the ceiling.
Hanging from the
We had to
ceiling.
turn on the lights, so everybody, it was an oddity because we didn't never have electricity before. Everybody had to pull the lights so we could see the house.
Well, when did you first live in a house that had air conditioning?
Probably after I finished high school and went to work and lived in Geneva. They had window units then. That's all we had was window units.
What's
Yeah.
that?
It's an air conditioning unit that sits in the window.
It blows
You didn't
cold
have it
air.
everywhere. It just blows cold air. Electrical units.
Cools like one room at the time.
Yeah, it just would cool off one room at a time. So that would probably be the first time I remember even being in it with air conditioning.
She's still away.
I just put it in.
Oh, well, I thought she had been down.
What advice do you have for your grandchildren?
Oh, Lord, you don't want to know. No. I'd have to think on that one. Don't ask me right off the bat, 'cause I would have some advice, but I'd have to think on it before I
She might have to write a essay.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice?
I'd have to write all mine down too. I'd have to think about
The
it.
main thing would be live right.
Love God and
Love God and live
love
right.
and love people.
And love your fellow man like God loved all of us. That would be the main
That's
thing.
the main thing right there.
When did you first have soda pop?
I had it all my life, but Grandma Ruby didn't.
Now, I can remember in high school, would go to the store where I caught the bus to go to. I went to grammar school. We walked about 3 miles to go to grammar school. And then when I went to high school, we'd walk to where we went to grammar school and catch a bus and go to the high school.
Let me know if it's good.
There was a store there where we caught the bus, and I guess that's probably why I remember first drinking my soda pop. And on 4th of July, my daddy would let us get a watermelon out of it. We would have watermelon and make homemade ice cream and lemonade. That's what we celebrate with on 4th of July. I would eat leftovers, whatever my mom had left over from lunch. I guess that would be snacks. We never had anything special at that.
Not like Cheez-Its or
No.
anything like that.
No. We had a stove, like thing on it up here, that kept the food warm. So what was left over, my mom would put it up there where the stove was down. We had like a little called a warming closet, and she'd put the food up there that was left over. We'd go and get whatever was in there.
What type of transportation did you have throughout your life?
Throughout my life, well, growing up, like I said, sometimes we had a car that ran. Sometimes when my daddy could work on them and get them going. Off and on, I can remember we had cars all most of the time. Like I said, sometimes we rode in wagons.
Did you give a tick?
Most of the time he kept the car working, so if we went somewhere, we had a car.
Oh, Lucy's crying.
Probably an old car, but he kept it running. He knew how to work on cars.
To do that your grandparents showed you how to do.
And then what?
And then your favorite thing to do that your grandparents showed you how to do. Your grandparents.
Want to take a little Italy? You might need some?
Gosh, I don't know that I had a real favorite.
Ronnie?
I remember something my mom used to do that I wish I had learned how to do.
Sure.
Because you couldn't go to the store and buy that
Like
stuff.
brown wrapping paper?
No, it's not a wrapping paper, but it's kind of a stretch. You can get it in all colors. My mom would buy that and make flowers out of it. She'd start a long time before we had like what we call Decoration Day, which is every year they go where your family's buried and decorate the graves. And then they'd have service in the church, singing and dancing, and service in the morning, singing and dancing. And she would make homemade flowers and wreaths and things. I had 2 brothers that died when they were young. And she would make flowers and things to go on their grave and on her mom and daddy's grave. So that's what they call Decoration Day.
What is the funniest thing that you have ever done or experienced?
Funniest thing.
Funniest thing.
Oh my goodness, you might not want to know that. I didn't say. Funniest thing I've ever done. I don't know about being the funniest thing. I think the most, the thing that I have done that I never thought I would get to do would go into Alaska.
You went to Alaska?
I went on a cruise to Alaska. And I guess that's something would be on, I used to just dream about seeing Alaska. That would be the best thing, maybe.
What was it like in Alaska?
Cold. Raining and cold when we were there, but it was cold. But you know what? Beautiful, huge iceberg. I mean, like housetop size icebergs. We went to this little church in Alaska, one of the little towns, and up here where the minister stayed in that part, the people could look this way, and that was all glass up there, and there was the biggest iceberg you could see through that window, way off. It was huge, like a mountain almost, iceberg. And we could, on the ship, we would see them floating in the water, huge icebergs floating in the water. And that was neat to see.
What were some fashion trends when you were younger?
Oh, you wore dresses all the time. And they weren't short dresses.
They were like down to your
Yeah,
ankles?
well, no, we didn't wear them down. We wore them below our knees. We didn't wear them down to our ankles. That was before then, but we had dresses that come down below our knees. My mama was so till I got big enough to have so. And she made all our clothes. And you wore dresses. You never wore. The girls did not wear pants. That's you didn't wear pants at all. You got thrown away if you wore pants to church or to town or anything.
Yikes.
You didn't wear pants outside of the house.
Or like outside of the field or something.
Yeah, if you worked outside, you could wear them. You know, a pair of pants and a bonnet. Or bonnet something.
What were your dresses like?
Well, the dresses were made, kind of like they're made now. And we didn't wear sleeveless dresses.
Were they like
you could wear them down like this. If they wasn't long sleeve, you could wear them like this.
How were they cut?
They were not cut very low, let me tell you. No. Probably like this shirt I got from It wasn't low. You didn't wear low cut dresses like the girls do now. This was never heard of. Not the good girls anyway. You didn't wear low cut dresses.
What is the scariest thing that has ever happened to you?
Scariest thing? Oh my goodness. I don't know, baby. I don't remember. The scariest thing ever happened to me was one night, but you don't want to hear about that.
I do.
No, you don't. I tell you what, I dreamed one night. It was scary, very scary. One of my dreams was terrible scary. I'll tell you about that. One night, I dreamed somebody knocked on the door, and I went to the door, and just as I got to open the door, they had a knife in their hand. And so the knife went in. I can still feel the knife going in my chest and it going down. And before I hit the floor, I woke up. That was scary. That's about as scary as anything you can say.
Glad you woke up.
I had a bad
I'm glad I woke up too. What?
I had a bad dream.
You had a bad dream? What was it? What was your bad dream?
Well, one night I was sleeping in my bed, and then I started going on my playground at school, and then I said, "Mommy," but she didn't hear me because she was at home.
She couldn't hear you. Mommy couldn't hear you. What was about to get you? What was you scared of? Huh? You don't remember? You just got scared one night and you couldn't find Mommy? Is that what it was? Well, that would be pretty scary if Mommy wasn't around and you woke up all right.
Yeah, and then I went to my mom.
Then you found Mommy when you woke up?
No, I wasn't. No.
Oh, you went to Mom before you woke up in your dream?
Well, I went in the living room at our house for real. It was our real living room,
Oh,
not the
okay.
dream room.
Oh, it wasn't in the dream.
So I went to tell my mommy that I had a bad dream.
Oh, I see. That's not a good feeling. That's kind of like my bad dream was. It's a bad feeling, have a bad dream. Good thing you can wake up before it really stuff happens like I did. I woke up in time, so. But I can still remember that dream. As long as I live, I'll remember that dream I did, how it felt. Lots of bad dreams.
Yeah, when I don't say, please help me not to have bad dreams.
You holler, please help me, and there's nobody there.
No, I didn't say that.
Oh, what did you say?
When I'm praying before I go to sleep.
Oh, you pray help to help you before you go to sleep. That's a good idea. So then if you have...
So it doesn't make me have bad dreams anymore.
Oh, I see. Very good. That's a good thing to do.
Even I'm doing it here.
Well, I would too. I do it. You know what? I pray the same thing when I go to bed at night. That I'll have a good night's sleep and rest, and Lord take care of us. I pray for all my family every night when I go to sleep. Before I go to sleep.
I say, please help everybody in the world feel good.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Even if they got hurt and they go to the hospital.
What's your other question?
What is the saddest thing that has ever happened to you?
Oh gosh. Probably the saddest thing would be losing part of my family. Well, I had one brother died a long time ago, the first one that died.
How old was he?
He was in his 40s.
His 40s?
Mm-hmm. His name was Alfred. He had heart problems, and he lived in Michigan, and he passed away. And I've had lots of deaths in my family, though. My mom and dad had 8 children. Can you imagine having 8 brothers and sisters? Or 7 brothers?
I think 2 is hard sometimes.
I think so. But we had, my mom and dad had, well, actually they had 10. And 2 little boys died when they were young. One of them just lived to be 8 days old, and one lived to be 8 months old. But the rest of them, they were able to grow up. And I had 6 brothers and 1 sister. And we were really outnumbered. And them boys, oh, they were bad. They'd pester us to death.
Tell their names.
Huh?
Their names.
Oh, the oldest brother's named Lewis. Let me think. Leroy, Arthur, and, let me start over. Lewis and Alfred, Leroy, Art, Charles, Melvin. That was the brothers. Then me and Lucille was my sister. And 6 brothers and 1 sister. Yeah, that's me. That's right.
Where were you in the birth order?
I was next to the youngest. Melvin, the one that's living now, he was the youngest, and I was next.
So is any of your kids still...
Are they still living?
Brothers.
I have 1 brother still living.
What about your
Uncle
sister?
Melvin that lives in Coleman, he's still living.
What about your sister?
Huh?
What about your sister?
My sister passed away several years ago.
That was Aunt Linda's. Remember Linda that was here visiting? That's her mama.
That was her mother. My sister was her mother. Mhm. No, just 2 of us left. That's all that's left. I'm 80 and my brother Melvin is 77. He'll be 78 in July, so there's only 2 out of the whole bunch. My children or my grandchildren.
So, Mammal or Daddy, Aunt Nicole or Aunt Lori.
Uncle Matt.
You know what?
What is her?
I can't think of anything real funny. I'm sure there's been a lot of them, but right offhand I can't think. Melmom, I can think of something funny.
Tell them about that time I pitched it in the store.
Oh,
You
well,
have
the only one time there's only one time in Melmom's life that her granny thought she needed a whipping. We were in Texas. We were in a little town in Texas, gone to town. Went in the store, and of course, Mama, she was probably about 3 or 4, something like that. And she always got what she wanted, I guess. She was spoiled rotten. She was the only child at one time in all the family out there. That's what it was. And we went to the store, me and Mama and Granny, her granny. Well, Mama looked and all this store, she already had so much, I'm sure she couldn't find something she wanted. anything. So we left, and when we come out of the store and started to cross the street, she throwed a fit because she didn't get anything.
She couldn't find anything she wanted
That
though.
was it. But she throwed a fit because she didn't get anything. And how did she throw a fit? I spanked her right in the middle of the street and make her go across the street. That's the only time her granny ever thought that Mama needed a spanking.
Was she on the ground screaming?
Yeah, well, not on the ground, but she was screaming, yes. She was throwing a real hissy fit.
Yikes.
That's what you call a hissy fit.
Yeah, screaming because wouldn't go back to the store and let her get something, but we stayed in there forever and she couldn't find nothing she wanted, but it made her mad because she didn't get anything.
Hey,
Hey, how y'all doing?
Where did you hang out as a teenager?
What?
Where did you hang out as a
Or did I
teenager?
hang out at home? If I wasn't in church, I was home as a teenager.
As a teenager.
No.
As a teenager, I was either at home or church, honey. We didn't hang out anywhere. If we weren't at church, that's about the only place I ever went to growing up. If I wasn't at school, we were either at home or at church. We didn't have a hangout place then.
You did at homeschool?
No, I had to go to school. I didn't do homeschool. My mom couldn't do homeschool.
How old were you when you first watched TV?
The first TV I remember seeing, I was probably 15 years old. I remember I went to Birmingham to see an aunt. Me and my cousin stayed with them a few weeks, and their neighbor had a black and white TV, and we got to see it. It was a Western on.
And you were how old?
Huh?
How old were you?
About 15, probably. That's the first TV I remember seeing. And they took us to the movie while we were staying with them in Birmingham at St. Roxy. Do you remember the name St. Roxy and Uncle Robert? And actually they were our great aunts, I think. But that's the first time I remember seeing a TV. Black and white shoot 'em up.
What subject in school have you found to be most helpful in your life?
What subject?
In school
In school?
is most helpful.
Well, probably the most thing that's been helpful to me was taking home economics in school. It taught me how to sew and make my own clothes. I guess, and it talked about food and things like that also. That's probably more helpful. Of course, I learned stuff. I made good grades always.
Learn to read.
I learned to read, yes. I made good grades always in school, even in high school. One time I made a C that liked to kill me. Because I made that C. Most of the time I made A's or B's. But that's the only thing that really helped me because I learned to sew and I ended up usually making all my clothes and Mama's clothes when she was little. I made all of her clothes when she was little.
I was a
remember that.
teenager before I got a store-bought dress.
I remember that picture in your house of Mama in that pretty dress.
I
Did
made
you make
that.
She made it.
Mama used to think it was really something if she got a dress at the store. I
That's
was
right. I did.
Because I always made her clothes, but they looked a lot better than the ones in the store.
I was probably like 12, 13 years old before I got a store-bought dress.
Do you
Well,
remember
you
what?
probably got when you were younger.
That's the first one I remember.
Every once in a while you got store
Not
bought,
much.
but not too often.
What's the first store-bought dress that you remember looking like?
The first one I remember, I was probably about 13, and I thought it was the coolest dress. It was straight, and it had a belt that went around at the hips, and it had pleats on
From
the
the
bottom,
belt down.
from the belt
We
down.
have your secret,
And
Bonnie.
it was like a jumper, and it had a little blouse underneath it. It was real fashionable, the long-waisted dress like that. That was very fashionable when I was a teenager. And that's the first one I remember. I probably got one before then, but I don't remember another one. And it was about that long. It hit me about right there.
Whoa.
Dresses were short. Dresses were, when I was a teenager, girls wore dresses up to here. I didn't, but that was the fashion.
Did they wear anything under it, like tights or anything?
Sometimes I didn't. But I never wore dresses that short.
She never would.
Yeah, you might throw her
I
out.
wouldn't let And I didn't really want that. Because I mean, you have to
She
eat
didn't
each
really
other.
give me any problem about dressing then.
Oh, you read.
Because the kids she ran around with were the same way.
Yeah.
So both Anitas didn't wear dresses like that.
What traits do you think your grandchildren get from you?
Oh dear. I don't know, let Mama
Their
answer
silliness. Their silliness.
which is fun.
Which is fun. You like to have fun. That's like your grandma really being like me.
I think Madison got a double dose
And
of
the
that.
one, and giggling,
And giggling.
Probably
Yeah.
that was probably the
Tickle.
getting tickling. I take that after my mom.
Your grandma did
She would get so tickled. Sometimes she would laugh so hard. Like, you know how Pachard used to
Yeah.
do?
Well, like you do.
You know, and you just can't stop laughing. It's funny. It makes it funnier and funnier. You can't stop. That's what my mom used to do. One time, Uncle Charles and a woman was in the play at Christmas time at church. I don't remember why, but something happened. They got tickled.
Oh,
And every time they start to say something, Charles would start laughing.
oh no.
It was fun. And they ended up, they just quit. It was Edna Markham,
Oh Lord.
and she was as bad as he was. They ended up, they had to just stop the program because they laughed so they couldn't stop. They couldn't take the laugh.
I guess it turned into a Christmas comedy
Well,
instead
yes,
of a
it
Christmas
did.
story.
Very comedy, yes, it was. It was. Are we through yet?
That's enough for now.
Okay, tell us the story about the tornado.
Oh, well, we just, one night, we had a smokehouse, and Dad hung hams in the smokehouse to cure them. That's why we had to cure them. And I think they had, sometimes they build fire up under it and get the heat in there sometimes to cure. Anyway, it came a tornado one night, and we got up the next morning, the top, it took the top off of the smokehouse, and it took our storm cellar top off. And so, of course, our hams had been hanging from the roof of the smokehouse. So the boys went way over in the pasture in the woods, and they found our ham hanging up there over there in the woods. So they got it right back home, and we had our ham. That's how we saved our ham. It was a wonder we ever found it. It was in a pasture, and if a cows or something had got hold of the ham, it'd been too late. But they were up in a tree, caught in a tree.
Oh, because it was the roof still all in piece.
No, just they found the ham. They didn't find the roof. They found the ham hanging in a tree. Yeah, it was hanging in a tree because they had it tied up. It was so it was hanging on the tree limb. And that's where they found it in a pasture. And we saved our ham like that. Hey, when you don't have much, you go to great lengths trying to save what you got. Yeah.
How far can a ham fly anyway?
Well, that's true. It had to be some hard wind, pick that ham up and take it over to that
There's a
pasture.
whole new meaning to when pigs fly, doesn't it?
That's how pigs fly.
Ham fly less than a tornado.
I hadn't thought about that. Pigs can fly.
With a little ham.
Oh, Lord, run and turn that ham for this with.
You better watch out. You might go viral tomorrow.
Oh, Lord, please don't put it on Facebook.
What kind of pie is that? Peter, can you get, I'll get one for me.
Here, just lay it on. I'll move it out the way.
I guess this is technically a fruit pie.
Technically, well, no, it's technically a nut pie, not fruit.
No, pecans are fruit.
We didn't have a fruit cake this year.
They're nuts.
Hey, I hadn't made a fruit cake this year.
No, only pecans.
I always
They're
make a
different
fruit
family
cake, and I
things.
hadn't made anything.
Oh, I like something
I
new.
hadn't even made a fruit cake.
I'm looking it up right now. I might be.
And I love
You might be.
No.
Everybody knows what tomorrow is. It's Sandra's birthday. On 3.
29.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sandra. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
She was directing it.
As Pete
You
says,
want?
I'll be here all week.
Santa's birthday.
All right.
remember her birthday real well.
I've got your you ready to eat?
Yeah.
Why don't you go
I
to my
do.
purse and get your glucose meter and we'll
You
take
need
your
a special,
glucose.
special plate.
Yeah, can you pass me a coconut?
What was
I want to see you toss it.
how did Billy react when you told him you were ready to go to the hospital?
Her daddy was so excited. He could hardly talk. He went to meet his mom at the bus station. She came to Houston. He was just pushing her in the hospital. You better go. You better go. They're gonna put her away when you won't get to see her now. Her dad was so excited. It didn't matter if she was a girl. He wanted the boy, but when she got there, it didn't matter at all. He was just so excited.
You missed this conversation before church. Do not go
He
to
thought
church.
she was the grandest thing on earth. That's why she was so rotten from the beginning.
Not.
From the beginning. Poor chicken suffered. We tried to break her neck, you know,
Rainbow City?
My mom could go back.
Quietly among ourselves and leave you out of it. Sorry, Missy.
My mom could pop it
Yeah.
like that and it'd be gone.
It's north of
I never could do that. I never got to do
The
that.
reason for that is they're going to build an amusement park there to try to keep the dollars. Everybody won't drive to
And not busting anything, you know. I just keep it
Oh,
all one fell swoop.
They done it for me. I can do that.
What kind of pie was that? That was pecan pie.
Pine pie. There's another one down
Obviously,
there somewhere.
Knoxville and Chattanooga.
Are you
You want
interested in
that?
that?
If that makes sense.
But no, I never could wring a chicken's neck. That's just something I could never get
Well,
the
this
hang
particular
of.
farm we were helping out, they just
Oh yeah. Yeah, well they did that too. Once you wrung its neck, then you
oh
did that.
yeah.
Once you killed the chicken, then you did that.
They just went straight.
What did they do again?
You should send a note to me.
Is it in your purse?
That's about it.
Yeah.
That is it.
There is a log down there at the farm that is the chicken killing log. It's yeah.
But I tell you what, it was good eating.
Well,
Once
so
my
sorry,
mom
like
cooked,
the first
but we didn't
one,
get it all the time
was like
because we got fried
dry,
chicken to
taste
eat.
of
It
pears.
was
Hey, what's that?
I'm gonna tell you a story. I'm gonna tell you a story.
Don't say anything. Shh.
Sit down. Okay. My earliest remembrance is when I was about 2.5 years old. Lucille is my sister, and I spent the night at a neighbor's house. We woke up from sleeping on a pallet, and we're told we have a baby brother. Melvin was born July the 12th, 1935. I remember another instance when we were at someone's house. I was sitting on Lucy's lap. That's my oldest brother. I was sitting on his lap. I guess there was a party going on and someone was trying to get me to sing a song. I evidently was real small. From the time I was 5 years old, we lived on a farm, renting from whom we called Aunt Mary Corbin. I remember riding in the back of a car with Lucille and our dolls. The car had a rumble seat, one of these that opens up in the back and you sit in it. That's called a rumble seat. That's what we sat in when we went somewhere. The car had a rumble seat and that is where we were sitting. Later that year, I was 5 years old in November. I wanted to go to school so bad that I started when I turned 6. I turned 6 in November, but the teacher made me go home because I did not turn 6 in time. Another time I remember before moving to Aunt Mary's farm, it was Christmas. I was in the bed on Christmas Eve and remember waking up and hearing a noise. Of course, I thought it was Santa Claus, and sure enough, when we woke the next morning, he had brought us a doll bed and a baby doll. Mom and Dad could not afford too much for us on Christmas. I know they did the best they could. We always got fruit and candy, which was a treat, because that did not come too often unless we were living where fruit trees were. We were happy growing up, although we were poor. A lot of times there was not a lot of food for them to feed a family of 6 to 8 children, but we survived. Usually at noon we had vegetables, sometimes meat. At night we usually had cornbread and milk if nothing was left over from lunch. We usually had a good cow to give milk unless you got into a wild onion patch. Then the milk was awful. We probably drank it anyway, but I can remember how bad it tasted. A lot of mornings I have churned a churn full of milk. Do y'all know what a churn is, kiddos? You put your milk in it overnight, let it sit, and you take the churn and do this, go up and down, and make the butter. So, let me get back where I was. Had a churn full of milk so that we could have butter for breakfast. I did that sometimes before breakfast every morning. The house on Aunt Mary's farm was not too warm. It had 4 rooms. The one we called the front room was the fireplace with Mom and Dad's bed. The next room had 2 beds in it, and the back room also had 2 beds. It was so cold at times that we would pile all the quilts on the bed that we could find to stay warm. Of course, no inside bathroom. You did not dare move once you got warm because the bed was too cold. I can remember sometimes warming an iron in the fireplace, wrapping it and putting it in the bed to help keep us warm. That's what we did like that. I'd wrap it up in a towel or something. It was heated in the fireplace, and we'd wrap it up and put it in our bed to help keep us warm. We didn't have anything like electric blankets or anything like back then. The older boys tell the tale that when it would snow, we would wake up with snow on our bed. I can remember looking up, laying in my bed and looking up and see cracks in the ceiling that you could see outside. Like if it was snowing, you could see it.
Wow.
It really was. And also you could look through the cracks in the floor and see the chickens under the floor. Had little cracks in the floor and you could look out and see the chickens walking around under the house. Yeah, that's where Grandma lived when she was growing up. It probably was true. Of course, there was no inside bathroom. It was down by the barn in front of the house.
Ooh.
Leroy and Art tells of a horse Dad had at 11 a.m. every day when they were plowing. The horse would stop plowing no matter where they were, at the end of a row or in the middle. They could not get him to plow anymore. They would have to go to the house for lunch, feed the animals, and that afternoon he would go back and pull the plow. We always lived on the farm, and looking back, I can see what a hard time Mom and Dad had getting up early and being in the field by daylight. I've done that. I'd go to the field and work. By daylight, we'd get out there and go chopping cotton or something by daylight. I've done that too. Getting up early and being in the field by daylight. Mom would work until about 10 or about 11 and then go to the house to start our lunch. She would also put up lots of vegetables and fruit in the spring and summer to have food to feed the family during the winter months. Dad and the boys would kill hogs in the wintertime, put it in the smokehouse to cure the hams and salt down the bacon. Mom would can the sausages. I remember once a tornado came through. We always went to the storm cellar when the weather was rough. Remember all of us getting in the cellar and Dad barely having time to close the door before it hit. Afterward, we found the smokehouse had the roof blown off. You know what, when the roof blew off in the smokehouse, what happened? It blew our hams and things that was hanging up from the smokehouse. Dad and the boys found some of our hams in the woods. They'd go in the woods and find our hams hanging like on a tree or something where the storm had blown it over there. Found the hams in the wood. They had been hanging from the roof of the smokehouse, so it took the roof off, and that's where they found the hams over in the wood. They must have really loved their family to have worked so hard to try and keep us fed and clothed. There was not too much clothing, but I knew they did the best they could. As soon as we were big enough, we would start working in the field. I can remember being in the field by daylight and working until sundown. We had to chop cotton, hoe cotton, and then boys would plow it to keep all the grass down. I can remember Lucille and I sitting out in the field on a sack of fertilizer. When the fertilizer hopper got empty, we would take them a bucket full to continue. In the fall, we had to pick cotton. Then when the cotton was ready to pick, the schools would let out school then for 2 weeks. When the cotton got ready to pick, we got out of school for 2 weeks just to go Because most of the kids were on the farm and they had to go pick cotton over 2 weeks. So they stay at home and help pick the cotton. The most I can remember picking in a day is 200 pounds. I did it. Picked 200 pounds one day. The boys and Dad would pick more. We had to work hard, but it did not hurt us to do so. I'm sure Mom and Dad did the best they could with us. We also had a big garden every year, so Mom did a lot of canning. I can remember getting out really early in the morning and Lucy and I going with Mom to pick blackberries. We would pick until about 10 o'clock and then go home. She would wash and start the berries to cooking to make jams and jellies. We also had fruit trees and we would make apple, peaches, and other jams and jellies. Now, I can remember Mom being so hot when she'd been canning or cooking. Of course, the stove was a wood stove, and the kitchen would get so hot in the summertime. I remember seeing her sitting out on the front porch, her clothes wet to her waist, fanning and trying to cool off some. I know she must have had a hard time. This is kind of emotional here. She had a hard time trying to do everything she had to do. Raising 8 children the way they had to live on was not an easy task. Dad never did take a chance and buy his own farm, but he always rented from someone else. That's all I've written. I
there's more.
Stop there, but I did.
No, there's more.
Oh, there's one more way. That's all that's through. When we had a chance to play, believe me, we did not sit around the house with the grown-ups. We went outside and did not come in until we were called. We did not have many games to play with, so we usually made up our own. We would throw a ball over the house and someone on the other side would try to catch it before it rolled off the house to the ground. I do not remember how the points were made, but I suppose that one that caught the most balls won. We also played Follow the Leader. We were told that if we did not do exactly the same thing the leader did, we would have bad luck. I can remember going over all the hillsides trying to follow the leader. I can remember making playhouses and cooking many a dirt meal. Also down below the house there was a large tree that had huge leaves. I don't remember what kind, but we girls would take the leaves, get some small sticks and fasten them together and make dresses out of them. You had to really use your imagination then. I always loved to go to school. My birthday was on November 27th, and I thought I would be able to go to school the year I turned 6. Mom let me go, but the teacher sent me home because I was not 6 soon enough. I remember I cried because they would not let me stay. After I did start to school, I must have been a pretty fast learner, because the year I finished the 2nd grade, I was promoted to the 4th. Our school was named Sims Central School. It was about 3 miles from our house. Most of the time we walked to school winter and summer. I can remember crying on days that I could not go to school because of the weather. Dad was not always able to take us when it was raining. We did not have much to take for lunch, but we always had a biscuit or something to take. I am sure there were times we were made fun of because we did not have lunches or clothes like other kids. I can remember some of those times, but it would serve no purpose to tell about it now. The school was only 2 rooms with 3 grades in each room. After I finished the 6th grade, we had to catch a bus at that school and ride about 8 or so miles to West Point High School.
Hello.
Some of the kids, I suppose, got discouraged because we did not always have books and so forth at high school like we needed. There were times that then I was laughed at because of lack of clothes or such. But as I stated before, no need to go on in that point. I'm sure Mom and Dad did the best they could. All of their children dropped out of school before they finished, but me. I did go on to graduate. I have enough credits to finish after the first semester of my senior year. I did go back and graduate with the class in the spring. It was a big deal, I'm sure, for Mom and Dad to have one child to graduate. I would love to have gone on to college, but there were no funds, and Mom and Dad did not know anything about grants or scholarships. They have been a few times in my life I possibly could have gone to college, but did not take anyone to take hold and give me a push. After high school, I went to Geneva, this was South Alabama, where Lewis and family lived. He was pastoring a church there. I went to work with a telephone company in Geneva. This was a small town at that time. The operator would come on the line and say, "Number, please." Didn't read the number for you. This is what I did. It was a small office with 2 operators. I had some experiences while I was working there. Some would do to tell and some not. Because I was naive, small-time girl, I had not been around much, but I survived, and as a result of living in Geneva, I met my future husband. The town is close to what was then called Camp Rooker. On weekends, the town would fill up with GIs. Soon I found to be very nice. Some I found to be very nice, others you stayed away from. I was living with a family in Geneva. One afternoon, walking home from the telephone office where I worked, my girlfriend and I met several guys that were from Camp Rooker. We took them to her mom's house and started getting acquainted. As it turned out, I did not date Billy Carpenter at first, but another guy from Hearn, Texas. All 3 guys were from Texas. I soon decided that this guy was not interesting. The next time they came, only Billy came and I started dating him. We had a lot of fun doing different things and going different places. Eventually, he asked me to marry him. Of course, I was excited and said yes. He had written home and told his mother to go to Waco and buy a set of rings for him. We had several ups and downs, but he finally gave me a beautiful engagement ring. One weekend, we went to Coleman for him to meet Mom and Dad. Needless to say, I was very nervous. Our house was not the best in the world, but it was where we lived, and I could not be ashamed of it. Well, we made it through the weekend. Billy asked Dad permission to marry me. The rest is history. Before we were married, Billy had served his time in the Army and returned to Texas. I moved to Norfolk, where I stayed with Lewis and no ring. This was in 1952. During the stay in Norfolk, Billy and I corresponded and went down to Geneva some. He came to Norfolk. That was when the hotel was still on River Hill. This is where he stayed. One of the times we were having a little disagreement. I pulled off my engagement ring and put it in my purse. That was the last time I ever saw it. I never did find out where I lost it. Needless to say, I was very unhappy and dreaded to tell Billy that I'd lost it. I cannot repeat some of the things he said, but he did not like it either, especially that I had put it off my fingers. I never got another one. I suppose he thought I did not deserve it. We were married in May 1953. I went to Houston, where he was working at the time, and stayed with his Aunt Verna Martin until we would go to Thornton to get married. I remember going to Mabel and Bill's house, this is Mom and Dad's house, and being very nervous, but all the family very nice. I stayed for a week, and Billy came in on the weekend, and we were married. Bobby and D.T. stood up with us. We were married at Mabel's and Bill's home. That's it.
Yeah.
The end.
Can I get some